If China isn't free, why does life here feel so free? We're told America is the land of freedom. But what kind of freedom is it when you can't walk alone at night? Is it freedom when a hospital bill can destroy your life? When your kids are surrounded by drugs and gun violence? When every news cycle feels like a crisis? If this is freedom, why does it feel so terrifying? Maybe the freedom we're so proud of is the reason life feels so hard. And yet there's somewhere else where life feels completely different. This video isn't about politics or ideology. It's about something much more personal. And by the end of this video, you might question everything you were taught about what freedom even means. Let me start with this: what everyday freedom actually feels like, and why the version many Americans were raised to believe in doesn't match up with real life anymore. Because if the system you grew up defending is making your life harder, not easier, you deserve to know it. And if there's another place in the world where life actually feels safer, calmer, more stable, and actually more free, that's worth understanding. I've spent years living in China as an American, not as a tourist, not just for 1 week, but long enough to experience daily life, raise a family, and see the contrast with my own eyes. The difference on what I was taught and what I've lived is massive. So let's break it down clearly. I'm going to show you how the American idea of freedom subtly works against the people it promises to protect, and then show you the surprising freedoms people in China experience every single day. Today, I want to ask a question that makes a lot of Americans uncomfortable. What if China, the country we've always been told is not free, is actually delivering a better version of freedom than the one we grew up defending? Growing up in the U.S., I was taught that freedom meant having choices. Freedom meant less government, more individual rights. Say whatever you want, do whatever you want, the whole package. But here's the catch. What's the value of freedom if daily life feels unsafe, stressful, chaotic, and unpredictable? You're free to own a gun, but not free to feel safe in a shopping mall or school due to shootings. You're free to choose your doctor, but not free from medical debt. You're free to speak your mind, but not free from the algorithm war tearing society apart. You're free to pursue happiness, but not free from the stress of living paycheck to paycheck. This is where the idea of American freedom collapses. It promises you the sky, but gives you anxiety, debt, and fear. Look, freedom sounds amazing until you realize that freedom without stability becomes chaos. When every individual does whatever they want, society becomes unpredictable. When the government steps back, corporations step in. When public services decline, everyone is on their own. And what do you get? Homelessness exploding, crime rising, healthcare costs out of control, schools divided by wealth, and infrastructure is falling apart. The U.S. political system is basically two armies screaming across the trenches. And people call this freedom. But ask the average American person, do they feel free or do they feel exhausted? Ask a parent in the U.S., do you feel free raising your kids in this environment? Or are you terrified? Ask anyone working 2 jobs. Do you feel trapped? In this video, for the first time, I'm going to talk about Christmas in China. Because in the West, the Western media tells Americans that in China, we cannot celebrate Christmas, that the China government will come take everything away and throw it in the trash. That is such a lie.
Yes.
We can celebrate Christmas freely in China.
Who said Chinese
Right,
don't celebrate the Christmas?
right.
Who said?
Western media says that. The news. Look at this.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, thank you. And I'm gonna walk around and show some Christmas stuff. So Merry Christmas to you. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
So what I just spoke about with that gentleman is Christmas in China. For years, I've spoken about this to friends and some family about how the Western media will constantly say we cannot celebrate Christmas in China, which is so untrue. So this is a great example of this little area where I'm walking around right now. There's all kinds of Christmas stuff. Christmas trees, smiling people. There's Christmas stuff everywhere. But according to the Western media, the China police would come here, grab all of this Christmas stuff, and throw it in the trash. Again, some of the biggest lies that the Western media says or other people about China is that China cannot celebrate any holidays that the West celebrates. That is such a lie. Christmas stuff everywhere. Happy people, Christmas shopping, happy people selling stuff. And this is just one little area where I'm walking around. I'm gonna start showing Christmas stuff throughout this video, and you can see the real truth in China as it relates to the Christmas season. This is the part Americans rarely confront, and that's freedom on paper doesn't matter if everyday life feels like survivor mode. And then I came to China, a place I was told was the opposite of freedom. I expected strict control, tension, fear, but what I found was the complete opposite. I found calm, safety, predictability, order, and community. A society that actually works. Suddenly, the question hit me hard. If China isn't free, why does life here feel so free? See a Xiaomi car shop here. Let me pop in and check it out. YU7 is sure nice. Wow. He looks good sitting in that. Look at this, huh? This thing is nice. Beautiful. You get in there. Watch your feet. This thing is nice, huh? Everybody's checking out this car. A lot of happy people looking at the car. Oh, this really feels good. Nice and comfortable. So, I'm taking one home today. I'm going to be talking to the sales manager here in a little bit. This girl is coming home with me. Let's go. I'm gonna buy a new car. Another large Christmas tree with everybody taking pictures around it. So there is Christmas tree stuff everywhere. And over here, we have not one, not two, but 3 Santa Clauses climbing up a pole. Looks like here they're displaying some Christmas stuff. But I know I keep repeating myself that this doesn't exist here in China, which is complete BS. Merry Christmas right there. Is that Dancer, Prancer, or Rudolph? Let's talk about the kind of freedom that people actually need to live well. And that's freedom to feel safe. In China, I walk anywhere at any hour without a second thought. In China, I could leave my phone, backpack, laptop, kid's backpack in a cafe, and nobody's gonna touch it. Nobody's gonna rip it off. We can walk away for a little bit and come back, and it'll be there. This isn't small. This is the foundation of freedom. So, what do you think? It's not luck. Safety just doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's engineered. And that is the truth. What China offers is freedom from fear. No mass shootings, no drug epidemics, and no constant threat looming over your children. Freedom from endless bills. Healthcare is affordable. Public transportation is cheap. Daily life doesn't drain you financially, and that frees up your mind. There's freedom of time in China. High-speed rail, efficient subways, cashless payments everywhere. China gives people their time back, and that time ultimately is freedom. Freedom for kids to be kids. Kids can walk to school alone safely, and parents are not terrified. Neighborhoods look out for each other, and that's more freedom. Freedom from political chaos. No never-ending election circus. No cultural war fatigue. No feeling like the country's collapsing every 4 years. Americans underestimate how mentally exhausting the U.S. system is, but many are waking up now. Freedom isn't shouting. Freedom is peace. Here's some more freedom. Freedom to make a lot of money in China and buy expensive things. So if you're not free, you can't buy a car like this. Here's what shocked me. The things the Western media said that China lacked. Dignity, order, respect, stability. Are these things that America is now missing the most? China gives people a predictable, safe, clean, functional society. And that gives everyday freedom more powerful than a slogan. Being able to leave your electric scooter outside overnight and know it'll be there in the morning. That's freedom. And by the way, this wasn't planned. As I was just walking by, look at this person. Look how safe they feel. Keys are in it. I mean, if this was Los Angeles or New York at night, this thing would be ripped off in a minute. Another electric bike. Let's see if the keys are in it. Yep. Ha, amazing. Nobody steals these things here. It's not your property. Everybody leaves it alone. Some kid's bike just sitting here. Let's be honest, that's a nice looking bike that belongs to somebody. Nobody's coming along and stealing it. Here's another bike. Amazing. That's his bike. Everybody's happy up there. Hello. Hello. I think that it's his bike too, huh? Hello. But still, they were nearby. Their bikes were laying down there. I'm sorry. If that was New York and you'd do that, the thugs would swoop in and jump on that bike and ride away, letting your kids play unsupervised at night. That's freedom. Wow. Uh-oh. Oh. What do we do? I hit the ball up there. It's my fault. Here, I can get it. I did it.
Oh, thank you.
I hit it up there. I was gonna have to buy him a new one. Just another lovely, peaceful night in China. That's freedom. Walking into a hospital without worrying about bankruptcy. That's freedom. Living in a city where the government and the people are aligned instead of at war. That's freedom. These aren't luxuries. They're the building blocks to a good life. This is the uncomfortable truth. Americans defend their idea of freedom because they inherited it, not because it works. They compare systems based on ideology, not real outcomes. But here's what I personally care about the most. Does your country help you to live well, or does it make life harder? So let me say this. If your freedom leaves you stressed, unsafe, broke, divided, or exhausted, is that real freedom or just a comforting myth? And if society gives you stability, safety, opportunity, community, and peace, why are we so afraid to call that freedom? Maybe because it forces us to let go of sacred beliefs. So here's my challenge to you. Don't compare slogans. Compare the feeling of daily life. Compare the level of safety, the stress, the noise, the fear, the community, and the opportunity. And what I just mentioned will lead you right to China. You might discover the same thing I did. The countries we label free aren't always the ones where people feel free. And the countries we label not free often give their citizens the freedom that actually matters. So, I did a lot of rambling. So what's your take on freedom? Leave a comment below. I read every single one. So hey, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it. And if you found this video eye-opening, subscribe for more unfiltered truth on what life is really like in China in the eyes of an American. So that's it. Everybody be good, be safe. This is Chris, signing off from China. I'll see you in the next one.